Hey folks, it's Michael with the CCERP podcast. Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about water and clean water with the great Teri MacArthur of the Woodlands Township. Hey Teri, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well, Michael. I'm sitting outside in the shade on the back patio of the building. It's so nice out here.
Cool. What's the temperature?
I have no idea. Warm plus.
I can look it up while we're talking because of modern technology. And the invention of the thermometer by Fahrenheit and Celsius. So thanks to Fahrenheit and Celsius, we can know what the temperature is. 88 degrees.
Thank goodness for our heroes. 88. Wow. It's a nice shady day. There's a cool breeze blowing, so I'm good.
Cool. Yeah, and it was cool this morning. Yesterday, was it yesterday when I went out? Yeah. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before, I forget. But one of those days I went out. Man, it was so humid. My glasses just fogged all up. It was like...
Well, now you're showing your age.
Really
you mentioned you're wearing glasses.
I've been wearing glasses since I was like third grade, whatever. I didn't say my bifocals. I don't have bifocals. I didn't say that. Glasses, contacts. I'm like technically blind without them.
Okay. Well, I just recently had to start wearing glasses to read, so I feel you.
Yeah. One time I was at a park, and it was before I had the sense to figure out that it was a pollen. But at first, like, I used to be so stupid that my contacts would bother me a certain time of year, and I didn't have the sense to connect it with the pine pollen and grasp that the pine pollen was getting under my contacts and being like little sandpaper in my eyes. And so, but eventually, I changed my diet, got smarter, and started sleeping like a human being should. Instead of doing this, like, 4-hour, we don't need sleep, bullcrap. And, yeah, so then I could actually,
and suddenly, your health got better and your vision improved.
And your brain works better, too. And so then it's like, no.
Okay, you might have to prove that.
Whatever. Man, I'm going to bring a copperhead up there.
But yeah, you know me too well.
I finally figured out it was a pine pollen. Duh. So I wear glasses now during that time of year when I'm outside. Like, duh. But I was at a park and the pine pollen got under my contacts and I had to take them both out. And I needed some solution. So I had to drive to a nearby Kroger. And man, that was horrible. I couldn't see anything. I had to like get when I was like just about under a light and have the car going really slow and look up to see if it was green or not. And then I'm at the store, probably looking weird. Like, I can't see what's in the aisles of the store, you know. So I kind of know where to go, and then to see where my solution is, literally, I got to be like, I got to squat down to like the second shelf from the floor and go like 3 inches away from everything and look, and then I can see what's there. It was horrible.
I'd have paid $0.25 to watch that.
Yeah, that'd make a great YouTube video. But damn. But so I don't know why we got into that, but yeah, about glasses and stuff. But my glasses fogged up the other day when it was all humid in the morning.
Yeah, it was pretty humid this morning too. Yeah. I noticed my shades fogged up when I got in the car.
Yeah, my glasses didn't fog up this morning like they did the other day. And that was unusual. They don't fog up that bad too much. So it was really humid the other day. But, it's been cooler in the morning. Looks like after we get this rain, it'll be even nicer in the morning.
I hope so.
Yeah, because we got, instead of this so Monday morning it says low was 77, high was 91, and tomorrow No, like, oh no, like, okay, so low of 68 tomorrow, Thursday 61, Friday 59, Saturday
Nice.
morning 63. Nice.
Nice. Well, Saturday morning is when we're going to be talking about dog poop at Sawmill Park. So you might want to come out and join us.
Cool. I'll be an expert by then.
There you go.
But, yeah, so it's nice out, cool in the morning. We'll have some cool before we get our Houston, like, 80 degrees and 80% humidity at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that'll be coming up soon.
It's coming.
Yeah. But, how's everything else going? All good? Anything else you want to show?
Staying busy.
Cool.
No mushrooms of note so far this year. It's been far too dry. Although this week, for the first time in a while, Montgomery County is almost completely out of drought. We have been in moderate drought, but now the majority of the county is in abnormally dry status with a small bit of moderate drought on the east part of the county. So this rain has really been helpful for drought.
Cool. Good. Yeah, good we're getting more. But how's it been in the rest of the state? Have you kept up with that? Is it?
Yeah, so in far south Texas right now, mostly on the western side of far south Texas, and then most of West Texas and significant portions of the Panhandle are in extreme or exceptional drought still. From those points, as you move east, the forecast for improvement, it gets better and better and better. And as I say, even Montgomery County has been in moderate drought now for quite a number of weeks. Really most of the time since the first of the year. But we have progressed out of that as of this week and back to, we're still abnormally dry. We could use some more rain, but it is improving.
I better change my microphone. Looks like this Yeti I'm seeing looks like some feedback on my podcast recorder thing. So let me change this microphone here. Preferences. No, not there. Yeah, just go here. Here. Okay, there. Now I'm not seeing the feedback. Should be better. All right. But, yeah. And it's good that since we're in drought and we're in Texas, so it happens a bit, it is awesome that some government people and some businesses put a bunch of concrete there to drain out the water as fast as possible. That is sheer genius. Nothing can prevent droughts more than getting rid of all the water as fast as possible. Because who the hell would want to have nice ecological places where the water can soak in and it can stay there and we can have water for the plants and stuff and water to drink? God forbid we should do that.
What does that make?
Right. No, we need this nice, beautiful concrete like that everyone loves. Yeah. Everyone loves to look at concrete and be around concrete. You know, like little fourth graders. Do they like bunny rabbits and dogs? No, they like little concrete things, right? Yeah, it's like genius in so many different ways.
Hold that thought because later we're gonna be talking a little bit more about concrete later.
Cool. But yeah, we'll know we're in a more advanced culture when there's like an ecologist or two on every board or committee for things like that, and they're actually taken seriously. Until then, it's like people are like, people think we're advanced. Ha! In some ways, yeah, but you know, like in some ways, modern culture is primitive and backwards.
What we're advanced to is being slaves of our need to consume now, and so it's all about, quote, the economy and our ability to consume. So,
yeah, and the way I look at it is like technology is out of context of the broader biology, ecology, or biological nature. It's just a bunch of toys. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Well, what are you? Who's the I you're talking about? Do you really want to do that? Is that really good? Someone gets a little
And
toy
how
and
much,
what?
yeah, and how much better, in point of fact, does it actually make our environment, our lives, our you know, I don't know.
Yeah, let's have more wisdom and less playing little games like a 4-year old with some technology, you know?
Yeah,
And people need to get a good, reasonable, wise perspective on it. It's not like technology versus anti-technology. It's using technology in the service of human life, period. Having human
true.
life
This
in the
is
big
true.
picture standard, the standard of value, you know? And seeing that
Yeah.
there's all this cooperation out there between us and other animals and we need them to survive. Um, but, yeah. So, um, we need to get into our water thing.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Always ready, never ready. Okay. Um, but so today we're going to talk about water and water quality. Um,
Yes.
and what's your background in this, Terry?
Well, I'm passionate about water. I've been a water quality monitor since 2004, and I've been a certified trainer for water quality monitor volunteers since 2006. I'm currently serving on the steering committee for the Spring Creek Watershed Protection Plan um, meetings that are going on in advance of proposing to the EPA some strategies to improve the water quality in Spring Creek. Is that good enough for you?
Yeah. Um, yeah, so you work with it in the woodlands and measure it,
Yes.
keep track of it, report it. Um,
Yes.
what kind of little sciencey things do you do to measure it?
Most volunteers, and I am a volunteer, most volunteers monitor a small suite of parameters: dissolved oxygen level, conductivity level, air and water temperatures, pH, turbidity, as well as a selection of observations of the water that's being monitored that are indicators of its health. When I work with student groups, we often use dip nets and capture some macroinvertebrates to try to put them into families and use them to determine whether or not the water is too polluted for the macroinvertebrates that require clean water, that sort of thing. So, I mean, there are a lot of ways to determine how good or not the quality of water is. There are also a lot of professional water quality monitors in this region. And by region, I'm referring what's typically called Region H. It's a 13-county area that surrounds Harris County. And HGAC, Houston Galveston Area Council, is the Clean Rivers partner for this region. This region submitted their 5-year water plan last year, and this year the state, through the Texas Water Development Board, has just released their 2022 state water plan based on a compilation of all the various regions' water plans combined into the state's water plan. So, everyone is taking a look at water, have for years and years, but it's collating and comparing data from all the different parts of the state to arrive at a plan that is a way to protect local watersheds as well as the entire state's waterway system.
Mm-hmm.
And of concern right at this time here in the Woodlands Township is the problem that we're having with high bacteria levels in all our waterways, which is what has prompted some of the municipal utility districts, the MUDs that operate here in the township, to begin a large project to install markers on storm drain inlets to remind people that nothing should go into storm drains except rainwater. So that's my current big project that I'm working on here.
Okay. How much do you think that's actually going to help, though? How much do you think people will actually listen and people will just dismiss it?
I think if it prompts questions by anyone, that it's that word of mouth, neighbor to neighbor, peer to peer conversations that follow that will ultimately affect it. And this isn't, if we put a marker on every storm drain marker today, tomorrow we're not going to see an improvement. But over time, as one person tells another person that there is a problem in our waterways that is a health hazard to us, as well as being habitat damaging, that I believe that people really want to do the right thing and sometimes just get sidetracked in the process. And the more they understand the problem, the more likely they are to act. What I'm trying to do is close that knowing and doing gap, so that once they understand what the problem is, they're willing to do their part about it.
Yeah. Sounds like at least some of that money might be better spent by having programs in the schools, get people learning about it in the first place.
We're doing that as well.
Good.
Yeah, we're doing that as well. I've met with 3 high school groups this year so far. We're heading into their summer break, so I only have 1 high school group on the calendar for over the summer, but then more are on the calendar as we go back into the school year again. And you're exactly right. I mean, if we can get kids on board with the concept, kids get it. They understand it. And they're outside. They want it to be a clean place for them to play and be. And so once kids understand it, they are willing to push their parents to do a better job. And we've found this again and again with, a lot of different behaviors that are environmentally friendly, that, kids can drive this. So yeah, we're working in schools. We're working everywhere we can. That's the nature of what our department does, environmental services. All of us have the title of environmental education specialist. We have different specialties. Mine is water conservation, but that's what we do, is environmental education, and we work with student groups to the extent possible.
What do you do with the high school groups?
With the high school groups, I'll give you an example. Back in middle of April, I took a group of 22 high school students. We went to the Bear Branch Recreation Center here on Research Forest, walked down to Bear Branch, collected a couple of bucket samples of the water, made several different observations about the waterway, the physical appearance and structure of the waterway. Then we went back into the building and got our kits together, and we tested for dissolved oxygen levels as an indicator of habitat health.
Do you ever test for anything else besides the oxygen in there with the kids, or just that, or what?
Yeah, it depends on the amount of time that they have. If it's if we're limited to an hour, we use reagents, chemicals to test for dissolved oxygen. So it's a lot of steps. It's about a 45-minute process to test for dissolved oxygen with a group like that. So if we only have an hour or so, it's hard to test for other things. But if we're doing a longer training, then we would include things like conductivity, turbidity, pH levels, temperatures of the air and the water, and make some more in-depth observations of the physical waterway.
Cool. How do the kids take it? Are most of them interested, or since it's like a school thing, are they like,
So it's interesting that I'm at the high school level. I mostly see students who are in environmental science classes.
Cool.
And admittedly, in some cases, they're there because the teacher will give them extra credit if they show up on a weekend to participate. But across the board, I get very good responses back from the kids.
Good.
And so there may be a few who just show up for the extra credit, but I feel, honestly, that a lot of them learn enough as we discuss why we're doing what we're doing that it may have an impact on their thinking.
Cool. Too bad you can't do some tests for bacteria like that. Is that would that be like a longer day or what?
Oh, yeah. So I have done bacteria tests. E. coli is a bacteria that's in all warm-blooded animals' guts. So it's easy to test for. It's the easiest to test for. So it's kind of the indicator species for bacteria in waterways. And so to keep the cost down, it's grab a sample, prep it for an incubator, incubate it for 31 or 32 hours, and then count colonies in the petri dish, kind of a thing. So it's not something you can do with a group of students. There are a few faster tests, but they're very expensive. So that's not typically what we do.
Too bad they can't do that over a longer period of time. That's what should be done in some education anyway. It shouldn't just be like a one-time multiple choice test, regurgitate and forget. Stuff should be drawn out longer. Yeah. Just like sentence diagramming, like grammar done in 8th grade. Yeah. Wrong, grammar should be done all through high school, bit by bit.
Yeah.
But,
well, there are some teachers who are, especially advanced placement environmental science teachers, who are willing and able to acquire the supplies and set the time so that they can work out the schedule to grab the sample, get the sample prepared, and get it into an incubator one day, and then the next day look at it in class. So that does occasionally happen, but you can imagine the timing involved in that is not easy to plan.
Yeah.
But there are volunteers out there doing it and reporting in the data, as well as professionals who are monitoring waterways and reporting in that data.
Mm-hmm. How do you, what kind of check do they have for like data quality and?
When data is reported in, I'll just use Houston-Galveston Area Council. As I say, they are our regional Clean Waters Program partner. So volunteer monitors here in this region, this 13-county region, submit their data directly into HGAC. And they do have a quality assurance manager who checks the data, contacts the volunteer if there's a question, on occasion asks the volunteer to go back to the site and repeat their test if there is a question. And then a couple of times a year, all the monitors are asked to report in for a quality assurance testing day, just to make sure nobody's gotten haphazard in their testing methods, that kind of thing. So yes, there is quite a bit of quality assurance of both how the tests are being done as well as the data being generated.
And it's the same thing all around the Houston area. So what you're saying in the Woodlands is just representative of just same in principle, different in location or measurement.
Yes.
So it'd be the same for Cypress Creek and everything. Yeah.
Yes, we're part of that 13 counties that are around Harris County. Yes.
Yeah.
And even the professional monitors who are using those super expensive probes are still subject to the same checks for, data quality and testing quality. Mm-hmm. So.
And then without the volunteers, you just couldn't have the kind of data you otherwise could.
It's they've done some studies over the years comparing the correctness, the validity of the data generated by volunteers versus that generated by the professionals. And there is such a small margin of difference that the volunteer data is is actually used in a lot of decision making. It is
Cool.
considered valid data. And, I would say that it's most important to help establish baseline data for waterways throughout the region where the professionals may only get to once a year or a couple of times a year because they have such large areas to cover and there are few of the professional monitors to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting after. Without the volunteers, you just couldn't have the same kind of scope and um,
Yes,
the amount of data. Otherwise, there'd be a lot
that's correct.
less going on, and
Yeah,
maybe some damage to a waterway could be not noticed for a while if not for the volunteers.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
imagine
Well, I
they've.
could give you examples.
Go ahead.
There's a group of high school kids over on the other side of the ship channel, on the east side of the ship channel, and the advanced placement environmental science teacher there um, sat in on a training class that I did, and he got certified as a water quality monitor so that he could take his students out to a small creek that ran alongside the edge of the property where the high school was located and engage them in doing the water testing and be able to report their data in. Only certified monitors can report their data in. So
Mm-hmm.
they had really only made a few reports, and that group went out one morning to do their water testing, and there was a really unpleasant odor in the air. So the group tramped upstream until they came to a small mom and pop water treatment plant that was discharging raw sewage in their effluent.
Yeah.
Most of these mom and pop treatment plants don't have a real person there all the time. It's a computer run situation. And apparently, a lightning strike or something had reset a computer and it was discharging the effluent way too soon. And so, as part of the training, we talk about what to do, how to report if there's a problem in a waterway where you're monitoring. So they went in and they called TCEQ, who was very responsive, sent out
Cool.
someone, assessed the problem. There were fines levied and remediation ordered. But here's what I can tell you. Most kids, by the time they've reached, say, middle school, junior high, along in there, teachers who are uncomfortable with answering questions, the why questions about science, have kind of dampened the curiosity of kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, by the time they're in junior high or high school, they have trouble realizing why science is actually relevant in their lives.
Unfortunately.
But here's what I can tell you. That group, that day, found out just exactly how science was relevant in their lives. And after that, every time they went out to test, they took trash bags, they picked up litter, they always walked all the way up to the treatment plant. So
cool.
Kids get it. Just what I said earlier, they get it. And they're terrific advocates.
Yeah, good. Any other stories like that about catching stuff?
Well, I know there are, but let's talk about dog food.
Fun. Okay.
Yes, the fun stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff.
Cool. So, yeah, and I think just to make the point again, I think around here in Cypress Creek, some volunteers have found some stuff in about the water quality and were able to report it that wouldn't have otherwise been done. Help clean it up.
Exactly so. Yeah.
Like I think Rosie at Kickarilla Misher might have said some things like that.
Yes.
But different creek, same thing. Principles still apply.
Cypress is one of the nearby creeks that is listed with TCEQ as impaired for contact recreation. That means Panther Branch, Bear Branch, Lake Woodlands, Spring Creek, Cypress Creek, Willow Creek, all of the area waterways that feed into Lake Houston, including the West Fork San Jacinto, All of those waterways are listed with TCEQ as impaired for contact recreation. That means it's a health hazard to touch the water.
Yeah.
Because of high bacteria levels. There are other problems, but the one that is the impairment for recreation is that if you happen to ingest any of that water, you're subject to gastrointestinal infections. If you are swimming or wading in the water and you have any kind of break in your skin, a scratch or something, you run the potential for bacterial infections of your skin. So it is a problem in all our local waterways. And when tested, the primary source of that bacteria is dog poop. I mean, and you can imagine why. Let's just take here in the Woodlands Township. We have somewhere around 42,000 households here in the township. Since we haven't knocked on every door to inquire, we don't really know the exact count of dogs in the township. But nationally, there's an entire pet care industry that is very concerned with knowing how many dogs there are and where they are. And they report that the national average of dogs per household in America is 1.6. So that means in the Woodlands, we're looking at about 67,000 dogs. And again, based on national averages, the average dog per day eliminates about 0.75 pounds of waste. So here in the township, that's about 50,000 pounds of dog poop a day per day. So we're talking 25 tons of dog poop a day right here in the Woodlands Township. So are people good about picking it up? Well, the short answer is yes, some are. Most are. But if everyone not only picked up their dog's poop, but made sure it got put into the trash, this problem we have with pet waste could be all but eliminated. I mean, we could not only be in compliance, we could be in really good shape. But here's what happens. I've had people tell me they're walking on one of the public pathways in the Woodlands and their dog poops, and they have a bag and they go pick up the dog's poop. They tie it all up, but now they have the dog poop in one hand and the leash in the other, and their phone rings. And so they toss the bag off into the trees on the side of the pathway or into the nearest storm drain, rather than carrying it, finding a way to carry it home and put it in the trash, or carry it to the next end of the pathway where there's a trash can, or. Last summer, when West Nile virus was so high in mosquitoes in our area, our mosquito abatement department was pulling tops off storm drains and discovered an incredible number, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of bags of dog poop that had been tossed into storm drains.
Wow.
And people walking on the pathways as part of our Adopt a Path program who pick up litter report constantly that they're picking up bags of dog poop from alongside the pathway. Well, so, okay, is that bagged up dog poop really a problem? Well, think about it. As those bags move through the system, they're getting snagged and torn, and the plastic is beginning to break down. They hit the waterway. Everything that goes into the storm drain washes directly to the nearest waterway with no filtration, no kind of treatment. And in the waterway, as those bags tear open, break down, or otherwise release that dog poop, all the bacteria associated with it ends up in the waterway. So one simple extra step. Step one is picking up after your pet. But the second step has to be put those bags in the trash. Don't leave them on the side of the pathway. Don't leave them in the tree line. Don't toss them in the storm drain. Put them in the trash. I mean, as a community, we could solve this problem if we took that second step. But the problem is so great that we have impaired waterways. We have an impaired Lake Woodlands. It is considered a non-contact recreation lake because of the high bacteria level. So there are other problems. There are other problems with dog poop too. I mean, left on the ground, yeah, the solid parts may break down and begin to decompose, and you might not see them anymore. But things like bacteria, viruses, they remain viable in the soil, on the soil, in the vegetation. Things like parvovirus and leptospirosis, all manner of intestinal parasites, plus the, a zillion other bacteria are still there on the ground. And if you walk out with bare feet and you walk across where some of these are, I don't know if you know the life cycle of hookworms, but on the ground, those microscopic eggs that were in the dog's poop, the larva stage emerges. It's still microscopic. It's on the soil, in the vegetation. You walk on it with bare feet. Those larvae are so small they actually penetrate through the skin into the bloodstream. They circulate as they grow larger and larger and end up in the heart and then migrate to the lungs. And one day you have this tickle in the back of your throat and a bit of a dry cough. And when you cough, you've just coughed up that larva into the back of your mouth. And when you swallow, now it's in your gut. And you have intestinal hookworms. That is one of many, many, many problems with dog poop left on the ground. So it can affect human health as well as other pets' health, other animals' health. Another part of the problem with dog waste, besides the bacteria, is once it washes into a waterway, the decomposition process begins. And you've been on mushroom and nature walks with me, Michael. What are those three main decomposers?
I forgot. I know you got a good way of doing it, but it's been a long time.
So the easy way to remember is just remember when something dies, the FBI is on the scene.
Oh yeah, that's what you
Fungi,
said.
bacteria, and invertebrates. Those are the three primary decomposers. It's the same in aquatic ecosystems
Sorry, I
as
was
it
a
is
bad
in terrestrial
student.
ones. Yes, you were. I'm going to catch you next time. But those things, when they are at work decomposing, all of those are using oxygen.
You do the best interpretation of what is it called? A spring thingy? One of them little springtail? Yeah.
Oh, springtails? Yeah. You remember about springtails, huh?
Yeah, your little interpretation of that, your little jump.
Okay. Well,
okay.
You can tell us that. I'm anxious to hear you repeat it.
Well, I'd have to show everybody, and I couldn't on audio. So.
I see. Okay. All right.
So
well,
sorry.
We'll let
So
it go this
back
time.
to the conversation. Sorry.
Yeah. So back to the conversation. All those decomposing organisms use up oxygen. So when dog poop and, for that matter, leaves that fall in your yard or your grass clippings or other organic material wash into the waterway, as they are decomposed, all those organisms are using up oxygen. So another problem in our local waterways is low dissolved oxygen levels, which makes it very difficult for fish to survive, and some other smaller aquatic organisms have difficulty as well. So it's not just one thing with dog poop. I mean, there are other things. Yes, when you let your landscaper blow the leaves down the storm drain, number one, it's illegal. And if they're caught, they could get fined. And there are both state and federal fines, plus the potential for prison time for that.
Sweet.
But you, as their employer, when they're working in your yard and blow those leaves down the storm drain, have a liability that could cause you to be fined and the potential for prison time. Anything that goes into the storm drain but rainwater is illegal. So if you're washing your paintbrush out there, or you're dumping the oil out of your car when you change the oil, or you put anything down a storm drain, you're breaking the law. So
Cool.
I think I've sidetracked myself. We were talking about bacteria in waterways.
No, talking about the whole ecology of it seems on track to
Yes.
me, so people know why it's important, why they shouldn't do it, how it comes back to bite them. It's not irrelevant. The
Yes.
ecology is an integrated, systematic whole where things relate. We don't live in isolation. We're not above or beyond nature. We're part of it, like it or not. We can pretend as much as we want, clamor about some technologies as much as we want, but technology only helps us to any extent that it does live better in this world at all, or all it is destroying us, undercutting our
Yes.
survival. So, yeah, it's important to see the different things this can do. Hell, people go to the creek to fish. We should be more doing that more anyway. There should be more fish in there, more people fishing to have their own local. I mean, people talk about local wild caught food and how it's good. Well, there'd be more of that if people wouldn't put so much crap in the water and would take the water quality more seriously. They would be outdoors fishing, bonding more with their children and their friends and family. They could have outdoor activities, doing a lot more fishing there if they take care of the water. And then they'd be getting sunshine, which people need. They need more vitamin D. They'd be getting more activity. They'd be getting in a more complex environment instead of this stupid concrete all the time that just makes your nervous system shut down and makes people get injured when they fall because they don't have good balance anymore. You get outside. One reason animals are strong, we're animals too, but other animals, other mammals, one reason they're strong and so agile is because they, as Tom Brown says, animals are instruments played by their environment. If we have a limited environment, we're going to be deficient and dysfunctional. The only way we can have our whole human animal self can be a beautiful symphony is by being played. It's the result of being played by the environment. We got to get out.
A healthy environment.
Yes,
A healthy environment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Swim in the water. There should be more of that. Kids playing in the water, swimming, people fishing. But all this stuff is going to be destroyed if all that crap is done to the creeks. So it's important.
Yeah.
So
let's play off that into another aspect of this whole water quality thing we're talking about.
And wait, one thing too about first some of this, so some things people could do or help others do is, okay, they might bring one little dog poop bag, but bring more, and then bring, if you're going to have more than one and you want to hold it, bring a shopping bag that you can put these in so you can make sure you can carry it back or something like that. Plan ahead more. Maybe some parks could provide that opportunity also. Do some education, teach kids about that, how you want to pick it up, but you got to make sure you have a place to put it too so you don't end up tossing it, in the water or a drain or throwing it out in the woods.
Yeah. I'm working on all those things, Michael, as fast as I can.
Yeah, but need more people doing more things. It's like the old shampoo commercial we knew from when we were young. You tell two people and they tell two friends and they tell two friends.
Yes, exactly so. That's that peer-to-peer I was talking about earlier in the conversation.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. All those same waterways I mentioned that have high bacteria levels also have high nitrate and phosphate levels. Guess what that's from?
Poop.
No. Well,
what?
Some of it may be from things in the dog's poop, but most of it's from fertilizer.
Oh, yeah.
Chemicals put on our yards, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, but mostly fertilizers. And because, let's throw another wrench in this, because cadmium is bound up in phosphates in so many fertilizers, now we're beginning to see higher than standard levels of cadmium in some of our local waterways. Cadmium is a serious carcinogen. Besides that, it can cause high blood pressure, decalcification of bones, and a whole host of health problems. And so, besides the high phosphate fertilizers that we use, other ways that this is a long chain of events. But for example, you smoke cigarettes, and interestingly enough, when you burn certain plant materials, cadmium results. And so tobacco is one of the things that you end up with cadmium from smoking cigarettes. You end up with it in your tissues, but some of it also passes through in your waste, which goes to a treatment plant, and sometimes that sewage sludge, once it's separated and dried, is sold for fertilizer that goes on crops, which ends up with cadmium in the soil, growing grains that are used for animal feed, which is fed to cows, some of whom we eat, and some of whom poop out their waste on the ground, and some of that waste is used in fertilizers. So there's this entire long chain of events where cadmium can easily get into not just human, but all kinds of animal and plant organisms and become part of a food chain. And we are right here, right now, in the Woodlands, seeing some of our waterways affected by too high levels of cadmium. And I told you we would talk about cement again. One of the things that can end up putting cadmium into the soil and water is places where cement is made, but also where metal is mined. It's in the air when plastics break down. Cadmium is used in the manufacture of plastics as a stabilizer. So when plastics break down, and especially if plastics are incinerated, that cadmium can become embedded in the soil, or can be carried into the atmosphere and fall onto the soil or fall into waterways. So landfills where plastic is decomposing are releasing some of those things into the air. This is another serious health problem that, I don't know, it may be a little more difficult to resolve than the problem with bacteria from dog poop, because there's so many different ways cadmium can get into our waterways and into our soils. But if we would stop or greatly reduce the use of chemical fertilizers in our landscapes, that would go a long, long way.
Yeah. And what can people do so that they don't need some of these fertilizers?
Biological inoculants would be a better choice, more, quote, organic methods to stimulate the health of their yards. And, I think people tend to take the easy way out, and they want to make sure they have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood, so they dump the fertilizer on without having their soil tested to see if they even need that. So when you put the excess nutrients onto the landscape in your residential yard, some of those are not getting used. They're washing off in the next rain, ending up in those storm drains, which drain directly into waterways. Now they've become pollutants and contaminants in the waterways. So fish, especially through their gills, are very susceptible to accumulating cadmium in their tissue. And so if right now at this moment, I agree with what you said earlier about getting out there and making ourselves part of nature. But right now in waterways here in our area, if we caught and ate those fish, we are risking some health hazards from they're going to be mowing the yard here near me. Risking some health hazards from eating those fish that have cadmium in them.
So yeah, so we're, as I say, we're undercutting our own ability to
Yeah,
survive by doing some of this stuff, by looking at
yeah,
technology out of context, not considering it with wisdom, not bringing in the biology and ecology, which matters. We are biological systems. We're not machines. We're not robots. Um, so some people get that. Some people don't. For the ones that don't, too bad, so sad. That's just the way it is. Deal with the reality. Wake up. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, it's like what 50 to 70% I think of the fertilizer washes off. It's a waste of money. And then it goes
Yes,
back to bite you. It's not only a waste of money, but it's unhealthy because of all these effects. And so it's like
exactly so.
this would is something more that people should learn in school instead of the stupid DNA stuff. DNA is important when you're in college. For some people, for most people, no one cares. You're never going to use it. But this stuff shows how a chain of causality is linked and can come back to you in a big picture. This is something that would help people think better. You get these thinking methods, and that would obviously help in marketing, physics, other things like that, everyday life, picking friends, picking jobs. But you memorize DNA, who cares? How the hell does that help you anything? Zero, you know? But something like this, yeah, you see the importance of thinking, the importance of science, how we depend on the environment and how we affect the environment. The importance of this cadmium, because cadmium is a metal. It doesn't break down. It doesn't like degenerate. You can't put it out there and it's not going to break down like a paper bag. It's a metal. It stays there. It's like never breaks down. There forever. Of course, unless it goes into a star or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Kind of like that and mercury and arsenic and some metals like that. Yeah. So it's important to see that whole cycle
And so
involved
what
there.
one thing you mentioned was marketing. And so, what we've seen is over these past, I don't know, couple hundred years, but especially I'd say since mid last century, we still have the mentality of those early settlers who came from Europe and United Kingdom, where people who could afford to have vast expanses of green lawns that required servants to take care of them came to be a status symbol. And that's a carryover that we are still buying into, that the more green lawn we have, and especially the more we pay someone to care for it for us, builds our status as someone who is not only affluent, but, on a higher moral level than us. I mean, that kind of thinking persists. And so over the past few decades, you've seen the proliferation of lawn care companies and lawn care products. And so, now it is considered a social norm to have a bright green lawn as large as possible and someone who shows up and sprays stuff on it periodically.
Poisons
rather
it. Yeah.
than
Tell it for
rather
what it
than
is.
taking care of it yourself. Yeah,
They poison
exactly
it.
So.
Spread poison
Yeah.
in the environment. It's just an insecticide. It's just going to get these insects right here. No, it spreads through water. Water comes down, falls on it, spreads it all around. It doesn't stay right there. And then the birds eat it.
Well,
or like some of this crap where
not
they want to kill mice and rats. Then they're killing owls and hawks and bobcats and coyotes too. There's these animals that take care of it for us, but then they're killing all these birds. Or stuff gets in the insects. What the hell do we need? Do we need insects for? For birds. Birds need to eat the insects. How the hell are they going to survive? Do you really want a world without birds in it?
At least 80% of all birds eat insects as some or all of their diet. Not just insects, invertebrates in general. So yeah, when we kill off insects and invertebrates, we are automatically reducing the number of bird species that we have. So,
And that's something that should be taught in school too, so that people see the cause-effect relationship. They're learning the nature of things, the cause-effect relationship, the importance of it, instead of like DNA. What fourth grader gets excited about DNA? Who cares? Or like,
yeah.
oh, here's CO2. Do all the kids get worked up and yell and scream about it? No. Bring in a rabbit, they love it. Bring in a dog, they love it. Put up a little chemical diagram. No fourth grader cares.
True.
It's like, come on, be real and like connect with people where it matters. You know?
Yeah. Well, marketing can be a tool for good, or it can be a tool for degrading our ecosystems. And
yeah, it's got to be used wisely.
We're seeing more of the latter. Yeah.
And I think I've heard some of that lawn nonsense, that fetish for lawns, comes from maybe England.
A lot of it does, yeah.
But yeah, and that's something that HOAs are culpable in. Majorly horrible players in our ecology with their bad, really bad ideas and rules that really need to change.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of things coming up in the near future here as environmental services events and activities. This coming Saturday, the 15th, as I mentioned early on, a group of school students and I are meeting at Sawmill Park here in the Woodlands to talk about this same issue we've talked about today.
And what's the date?
Weather permitting.
What's the date on that?
I'm sorry?
What's the exact date on that?
Saturday, May 15.
May 15, 2021. So if it's in the future, 2022, don't go. Okay. It might not be happening. 2021 only.
But if weather permits, we're actually going to try to get the last of the storm drain markers for Grogan's Mill Village here in the township installed. July 17 at Meadow Lake Park, we're doing the same sort of program and working in a different area to install storm drain markers. We've got a couple of workshops on invasive species coming up in the very near future, one June 6th and one August 14th, as well as some other things that are being added to the calendar literally as we speak. So
cool.
if anyone who might listen to this is interested in finding out about environmental education activities of the Environmental Services Department, you can go to the Woodlands Township -TX for Texas .gov, G-O-V, and put a right-hand slash and the word environment, and it will take you to our environmental services page. And on the right-hand side is an entire list of upcoming events. We've got a BioBlitz on several days coming up in June, as well as other workshops, classes, and events. So I'm getting my little plug for environmental services in here.
Cool.
And if anyone would like to reach out to me, I'd be happy for you to share my email address or phone number, Michael, if you wish.
Cool. Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes for folks, as well as that Woodlands Township website.
Okay. That would be terrific.
Cool. So it sounds like you're wrapping up. You need to go soon?
I do not need to go, but,
okay.
you know,
okay.
I'm just taking advantage of the break here to put a plug in for joining us.
Okay, good. With the stuff you were doing, I thought maybe it's on the hour and you need to go soon, but cool. So we can talk more. All right. Good. And then do you have that Woodlands Township environmental thing? Did you send that to me in an email already? Or maybe could you do that when you get a chance if you haven't already?
Yes, I'll do that when I go back inside.
I'll check. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you've got that in an email. So, yeah, that would be good. And I can put that in the show notes for folks.
Okay.
They can check out the calendar and everything. Cool.
All right.
But, and yeah, with the lawns, there's other things they could do. Partly the deal is, that fetish or fads for having it look a certain way. Some Since we're social animals, we want to do things naturally enough. It's fine enough to kind of like conform, get along, be part of the group, but we need wisdom in some of that. You look in human history, and that aspect of human nature can be really abused and lead to a lot of destruction. But with some being reasonable, with some wisdom, we can do it a lot better. So we could have lawns that are a lot better off without all this fertilizer stuff. Gardens, wildflowers, when it's like, instead of cutting it to like this stupid 1-inch thing or whatever,
Yeah.
like let it grow into flowers, like.
Well, so what we preach here is plant native species, number one.
Yeah.
Replace turf grass to the extent you are willing with native plants that support pollinator habitat if you can.
Mm-hmm. Insects, in other words.
Use biological inoculants instead of chemical fertilizers and other things. And if you're not trying to grow vegetables, consider some of the inoculants that have mycorrhizal fungi in them. They are great at nearly indefinitely storing carbon. Those fungal bodies that form those networks in the soil and connect plants and trees together and move nutrients and water around in the soil, even if that fungal body dies, once it has pulled carbon from trees into its own body, they're very resistant to decomposition. So as long as they're alive, they're storing carbon, but even if they die, they don't decompose easily, so the carbon remains stored in the soil, in the ground. I mean, trees are pretty good as carbon sinks, but they're not very good as carbon banks. So they're not good for long-term storage, but mycorrhizal fungi are excellent at that. So when you're looking for those, micronutrients, biological inoculants, make sure you check out the ones that have mycorrhizal fungi in them.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot. Again, if it was in part of education, people would know this would be part of the culture. We'd be a lot better off. It's hard for a lot of people when they're adult, they're working, taking care of kids, to really learn more about this. But some of the schools would be the place to start.
That's where you come in, Michael.
I'm trying. You're trying. I'm trying. We're trying. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
But much more efficient. Yeah, of course, maybe there can be some places for lawns where there's sports fields or whatever, no big deal. But a lot of the lawns are just total waste of money, total waste of time. And besides, some people might think, but that's so involved, I don't want to do it. It's fine. We have only so much time. But then, one thing is, we have all these people who go cut the yards. Excuse me, like they can't learn to do some of this other stuff, like to garden. You could convert some of the place into like no-till garden, grow some stuff. Some of these people, instead of cutting the stupid yard and having like all these mowers they got to buy and stuff, they can have like lower cost of what they need for mowers and stuff, and just go around and take care of people's gardens. They could do it for you biologically. Then they could take some of that as part of the payment so they can feed themselves and their family. Some of that, if you don't want it all, still grow a garden. You can give it to the poor, or bring it, people could come by and buy it from you and bring it to the farmer's market and sell it their stuff. There's a lot that could be done. There should be like an orange tree on every block. Orange trees grow great around here. And they're better, I found an orange tree that was left by someone's, when their house had to be removed because of flooding alongside creek. These were the best oranges I picked off that tree I've ever had in my life. The grocery store oranges were like nothing like these. The best, juiciest, freshest oranges ever. Other people even said that. I gave them to some other people because I had so many that I picked, and they said, yeah, the best oranges they've ever had. Or some like grapefruit, vine ripened, fresh local stuff for vegetables is the best. Meat, you can freeze it and
Yeah.
store it. It retains its nutrients, but vegetables lose the nutrients really quickly. So
Yeah.
they should be local. And then there could be
Well, I
more.
will say,
Go
if
ahead.
people do want to keep green lawn, those micronutrients, those biological inoculants, also work well on lawns. If that's what you want, you can still quit using the chemicals and still have a
Mm-hmm.
great lawn. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, you'll save money in the end because the healthier the lawn, the deeper the roots can grow, the less you'll have to water. So you'll
Yeah.
save water and money. And the problem with putting fertilizer on lawn on turf grass is it all the food is right there on the top. The roots of that grass are not encouraged to grow deep to find nutrients, and so the grass is far less healthy, which becomes in itself this vicious cycle where come spring you've got to put other chemicals on to kill insects or kill disease. Um, because your grass isn't healthy enough because you put fertilizer on. So,
Yeah.
if you break that cycle and begin to use more, and, I hesitate to use the word organic because it's an often misunderstood and misrepresented word.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
those biological inoculants that are out there now are terrific, and they're not chemicals. They're not something synthetic. They're a far better way to go, regardless of what you're trying to grow.
Yeah. And, more lawn should be more wild, native stuff instead of just grass thrown down. Should be more in nature. You never find a monoculture, not one single species of plant growing over a large area. It's always a mix. You need this diverse ecology, and with lawns like that, it'd be a lot healthier. Like I'm out when there hadn't been rain and people are having to water their yards, and I'm along the creek, and it's this lush green foliage all over the place. It's like, look at what people try to do. Look at what Mother Nature's doing. Hello, it's obvious. Let some of the
Yeah.
stuff grow naturally. You don't need as much water. It's made for these conditions. No one goes out there and fertilizes Mother Nature. There's this bounty out there. And you can be
Yeah.
like,
Well,
what?
next time you ask me to come on and talk, we're going to talk about invasive species because
Cool.
one thing you just said about nature doesn't have monocultures. It's true in healthy ecosystems, but
Mm-hmm.
when you do see monocultures, it's usually non-native invasives in an area. And so, as
Makes
I
sense.
say, next time we're going to talk invasive.
Yes, ma'am. Cool. But getting a little away from the water thing, but it's still connected because how you take care of a lawn affects the waterway and therefore the fish and therefore the health of your
Yep.
children, things like that.
Yeah.
It's important
Yeah.
to see. That's how we got into that. Fertilizer on lawns. Okay, well, what can we do differently? Gardens, let it grow naturally. These other biological methods you talked about to take care of the lawn. If you do want to have some like grass or something, and then of course talked about the education. We need to educate adults, children, HOAs, some government officials, and then if we got people would have more beauty in their neighborhood if they would let some of the wild stuff grow. There's just gorgeous flowers out there that, some look like they're from Costa Rica. I found some that it's like, they shouldn't be here. They should be in Costa Rica. They're so exotic. Like the prairie nymph,
Yeah.
purple passion flower. There's another one I forget right now, especially. But Indian blanket,
Well,
all these other just
let me tell.
meadow pink, just beautiful flowers people could be seeing in their yard.
Yep.
You don't got to pay
Well,
for
let me
them.
tell you one thing that maybe I haven't told you yet. On April 28th, 2021, the National Wildlife Federation declared the Woodlands Township as only the 10th municipality in the United States to achieve the status of Monarch Champion City.
Oh, cool.
And it's
Wow.
because we have
Congrats.
spent 2 years getting people to plant for pollinators, a serious educational program, with some incentives for planting more pollinator-friendly gardens, and many other things. It's a 24-point list of criteria to meet to
Hmm.
achieve that status, and it's taken us a little over 2 years to do it. So you're going to hear a lot more about planting native plants that are friendly to pollinators, because we are now a monarch champion city, and we want
Cool.
to keep that
Yeah.
designation.
Yeah. Sweet. And so people know it's not just the milkweed that they need. That's only for when um, they're feeding initially. When the adults need other
Right,
flowers besides the milkweed. Um,
right.
so there's some of that mm, overemphasis and misunderstanding of like the life cycle and um, the milkweed. When they're caterpillars, they need the milkweed, get that some of the chemicals into their system. But when they're
Sure.
older,
Well, we also want other butterflies, Michael. I mean,
true.
we don't only want monarchs. We want a lot of different butterflies, and they all have different host plants and different food plants. So, we want to expand pollinator habitat and improve what we've got uh, for a long, long time until we see a return of some of the pollinators that we've lost
And they're so
over time.
gorgeous. Man, if people had more flowers in their yard, they'd see more butterflies and just realize how many gorgeous ones we have out here. All the color and variety. It's like
Yes,
the skippers and the Gulf fritillary and all the different swallowtails, Eastern giant
yes,
and the um, spice bush and the black and others. And it's just, the monarch, but then there's also um, the queen, the admiral. You get out there and start looking when you can because the butterflies are there. It's like the
yeah,
variety and colors are just amazing and beautiful. It could be right there in
yes, they
everyone's
are.
front yard, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Is this noise becoming problematic? I could try to move inside somewhere.
I don't hear it. Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's not coming through. Cool.
Okay.
But so that's a bit about the fertilizer in the yards because we were talking about the phosphate and nitrite in the water, where that comes from, what the cause is, how this cycles around, um, and the cadmium and some things going into the water and into the fish. As you say, some stuff isn't filtered out; it accumulates. Um, and then the further up the food chain you go, I think the more it accumulates. That's why some
So,
eagles and mountain lions have some problems sometimes because um, they all they want to do is some of them is make the environment healthy for us by eating rats and stuff and rodents that carry disease, but um, some people want to hate on the lions without understanding them, as like Tom Brown said. Um, what we don't understand, we fear. What we fear, we hate. What we hate, we seek to destroy. Um, so it's about getting that education and understanding in there.
so the corollary to that would be the more we do know about nature, the more we are going to love it and protect it.
True. I've seen that in my own life too. I know personally that's true. But and you see its importance. Yeah, like maybe last summer I was at Little Cypress Creek Preserve, walking down a trail along Little Cypress Creek, and someone else passed by, and it happened to be a nice person instead of some of the people who are jerks or some people who are like shy. Um, and so we started talking a bit, said hi, talked, and this lady said she had started getting outdoors because of the COVID thing. You got the quarantine. She needed something to do. She and her dog and her kids and husband. And after a while, like one day, she was like, "Whoa, I'm totally different. This is helping me so much." You know,
Yes,
just dawned on her how she was changed and helped her mental state, helped her emotions, helped her attitude, made her more fit. So I hope she's going to be able to keep it up in the future because, a lot of people, you do something temporarily, but then maybe conditions go back to the way they were and you fall back into your own habits. But hopefully she and her family will keep that up. But,
well, that would be a wonderful thing, wouldn't it?
Yep. But
wait a minute. I'm going to have to move a little bit. I can't hear you very well right now.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, what else do you want to discuss about the water quality? So, anything else about lawns and fertilizers or cadmium? Anything else?
Well, I think we've kind of covered the basics, and I would invite people who have questions to reach out to me. I'll send you contact information, and I'd love to hear from them if they have questions. And, encourage them to watch for events coming up that we will have even more educational offerings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that quote sums up. Go ahead. What?
I think we've kind of covered all the basics.
Cool. I think that quote sums it up a bit too. Just about, besides, that's about people wanting to kill things they don't understand, but then without understanding, we don't know what's really going on or how to really make our lives better. So that would help too. The understanding helps knowing what the fertilizer's doing, what's in it, what the effects are, that there's cadmium we got to worry about. That it's not merely dog poop lying on the ground, but bacteria and maybe some viruses or whatever that can get into the soil, spread around, get into the water, come back to us. And then what about cleaning up some of that stuff like that? And that also adds a cost to water treatment facilities and making clean water.
Sadly, there are so many things when our waste goes into treatment facilities. There are so many things that aren't even tested for, much less treated for. That's why we get those reports from our water company every year that tell us what levels are of, important things like lead and whatever, but there are other important things that aren't in that report. So
glyphosate, birth control. I think that's a problem with a lot of water too. A lot of water has been tested, as we've talked about before, for some
pharmaceuticals and chemicals and chemicals like in pesticides. There's so many things that we don't know. And it may be a trace amount. That's what often water companies tell us is their trace amounts of this or that. But how much does a trace amount accumulate over a lifetime if you constantly are ingesting it? So
how much,
and so going back to the original thing that we were talking about, and that's pet waste. If anyone who's listening to this would just answer one question: could I count on you, please, when you pick up your dog's poop, to please put it into the trash? Just put it into the trash. Can I count on you to do that? Do that one thing. If you do nothing else that we've talked about today, do that one thing. But you know what? I think for most people, when they do one thing, the feel-good effect is such that they become more willing to do other things as well. And really, it's about taking that first step. And you know that, Michael. It's about starting down a different pathway, changing just one habit. And it becomes easier and easier to live a life that is less about how much can we consume and more about how much can we contribute,
Mm-hmm. And then people might find that the more they contribute, the more they can consume. How about that?
There you go.
It's like,
you never know.
contribute to the world and make it grow better and have more food for you and all that, and there's more to consume. Like if we'd
Yeah.
be more like some of the Native Americans in some places, and we'd select for native natural persimmon and um, what is it, mulberry and a lot of other stuff, grape, dewberry, blackberry, there'd be so much more food to eat and stuff,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but any other last words about water
No,
or
it's been
anything?
a pleasure to talk to you today, Michael. It really has. Thank you
Likewise.
so much for inviting me on. It has been my privilege to be here and talk to you today.
Cool. Likewise. Enjoyed it. Interesting.
And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next mushroom walk we do out there in the
Cool.
wonderful nature.
Cool. Yeah. You have to get out there for some other of those walks when I get the time. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, you could make the time, Michael. I'm going to insist.
Okay. I've been so busy, like fitness training and trying to go up and down Cypress Creek, picking up trash that I can. But, of course, a lot of it is not from people littering. There's some of that, of course, but a lot of what I pick up is, I don't know how many decades of like flood debris and maybe trash left where people lived a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know, in the last few months, like even like pulled a television out of the creek, looked like it had been there for 10 or 20 years, and find all these tires washed out. And it's funny, even sometimes finding a trash can on wheels that had floated from someone's house
Yeah.
into the woods,
Wow.
still has some trash in it. But
Yeah. And all those things are contributing to the quality or lack thereof of the water.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that, like I found a computer in the creek and a TV in the creek, and that's putting a lot of metals pollution crap in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
and then
keep up that good work, Michael. I'm encouraging you to keep up that good work, but make time for some fun stuff out in nature.
It
too.
is fun picking up trash. What do you mean? That's one thing people think too. It's a chore. I think it's like freaking awesome. I'm out in the woods. I'm learning. I'm like multitasking. I'm cleaning up. It's good exercise because you got to, like getting some stuff and carrying it like 100 yards so the county can haul it away.
Yeah.
It's like people pay for gyms
Keep you
to
from
do
having
that.
to go to the gym. Is that what you're saying?
Pardon? What?
Keeps you from having to go to the gym.
Right. Now I say support local businesses. Some gyms are good, but you need to do this too. But yeah.
Yeah.
But if people would get out there more, get a different mindset, they'd realize kind of how fun it is, how it can be good exercise, good mobility work. Like when I'm out there picking up trash, I've got to kneel, bend over, hip hinge, squat. It's an opportunity to really focus on and practice good technique and be mindful instead of just mindlessly picking something up. Stop and focus on the world and yourself, your technique. Pick something up. Go down low, do some squats and a lot of mobility stuff you don't do, or crawl and reach out towards something. Carry loads with good technique. Sometimes I'm carrying, I don't know, I have no idea, 50, 100 pounds on my back for a while in a trash bag slung over my shoulder.
Now you're just showing off.
No, I'm trying to encourage people. It's exercise. It's not a chore. It's fun.
Okay.
It's cool.
Well, sounds fun.
It's a challenge. Yeah, plus this is like in complex environments instead of a gym where it's all flat, monotone. You don't got to think much, brain turned off. When you're doing it out in the woods, you got to see, where am I going to go? Which of these trees am I going to go around? Can I go over there? What's the ground like? Constantly thinking and adjusting. So good stuff. But yeah. And if people haven't been out to the Woodlands, they need to get out there. What are some of the parks out there people can go to?
I'm sorry, say that last thing again.
What are some of the parks out there people can go to?
Oh my gosh, we have like 100 parks. You go onto the Woodlands Township website, and at the top is a bar. Says like businesses, residents, government, whatever. Hover your mouse over the word residents, and a big drop-down menu comes up. And right smack in the middle in a list, you'll find parks, community parks, and just start looking because there's so many of them, larger, smaller, more features, less features, some with pools, some without. But that's why we're meeting in a couple of the parks for these pet waste discussions and storm drain marking places is, get people out to some parks.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So what are some of the bigger ones out there?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I kind of like the recreation center at Bear Branch that's right here on Research Forest because it not only has, tennis courts and a skate park and walking trails that are natural surface trails, but Bear Branch, the waterway also crosses in back of the tennis courts, and that's where I take student groups a lot of the time to do aquatic field studies. I really like the place, and there's plenty of natural areas. That's where we last went for a mushroom walk.
Cool.
It's it's a great spot, and it's right on Research Forest, so it's easy to get to. And if you're into group sports, across the street from the entrance to the rec center is the entrance to the sports field.
Cool.
So.
Oh, and one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, because a lot of people, without awareness, without understanding, they don't know what's going on. They're clueless. Why should I care? What's there? But in our creeks, there's a lot more life than people know. There could be better off too, but in taking care of the creeks, I mean, we've got American beaver in our creeks. We have river otter making a comeback. There's all kinds of species of turtle. We have different river mussels and clams in our creek. There's little shrimp, teeny tiny little river shrimp. We've got all kinds of species of fish. What else is in there?
Well, plants and macroinvertebrates, larval stage of dragonflies, damselflies,
what are some of the
many different flying insects lay their eggs in and on the water, and the larval stage is in the water.
What are some of the species of fish we have?
Bluegill, largemouth bass. We do have some perch. One of the teeny little fish that we have is gambusia, which is also called mosquito fish because they eat enormous amounts of mosquito larvae, which is a good thing. We have, I'm forgetting the name of it, that perch that has the red spot on the side. For some reason, I can't think of the name of it. Well, but we have a ton of different fish, but we also have some non-native invasive fish like tilapia that have begun to take over some segments of creeks. So with the good, we're finding there's also sometimes the bad. There have been zebra mussels in our waterways, which is a non-native invasive. We've got several different non-native invasive aquatic plants in our waterways. If you've ever been to the reservoir at Bear Branch, oh my gosh, during the middle of to late summer, you can't even get your canoe in the water because the vast mats of water hyacinths that are in there. So, yeah, it's all about trying to keep things that belong there, and things that don't belong there away. And there's schools of thought. Some people say, well, if it's green, it's good. Well, that's why I said next time we're going to talk about invasives, because there's a lot of reasons why it's not good.
And then with all the fish in the creek, with a good native fish, we got the otter eating them. It supports the otter, supports bald eagle, supports the osprey.
Yep.
So it's important. Take care of them, have that beauty. And then if there's more of them things around, there's more for students to discover. Why all this stupid concreting of things when people need to learn more biology and get outdoors? People are sitting more, they're on the computers more, students are more obese. Well, the obvious thing is to get them out. Instead of destroying all these beautiful areas, they should be used and developed. They are not ditches, they are not pipes. They should be used, they are and should be used as just for the tremendous wealth of value that they have there. I wonder what it would be like if someone actually calculated it, the economic value. Like, kids could get out there and there's all this biological study they could do. They'd learn to, they could work on kind of managing in a good, smart, ecological way some of the species there, have more grapes here, have more blackberry there, have some persimmon, have some mulberry. Then they'd get to pick the stuff and eat it fresh. Then there'd be more food for the cafeterias and people and stuff like that. They could study like the plants out there, how things interact, the otter and the bald eagle and osprey, and get to see them, make it more real, do more field trips. And then what does it cost? Nothing except, the gas to get out there.
Yeah, as you say, the root of the problem is that we don't put a dollar value on ecological services. That's the problem. If we put a dollar value on it, then we'd have more respect for it. But we don't. We just assume that we'll always have plenty of oxygen from the trees. We'll always have plenty of, flood prevention from the riparian buffer zones. All of the stuff that may or may not be true if we continue to let things degrade.
Yeah, and then the root of that is not grasping that we're biological organisms that need an ecology to survive and acting accordingly.
True. This is true.
I think that's the fundamental there, grasping the philosophy, what we are, what we need to survive, acting accordingly, appreciating that. But, so if people get out around the creeks and look at them, they'll see more what's going on, appreciate water quality even more. It comes back to us, but there's all these, it's a rich ecosystem on its own. A lot of people are surprised at some of the pictures I post of some of the organisms that are actually in the creek. It's like, I never knew all these mussels and shrimp and things that are in there. Great variety. Some mussel shells I found that are native are like, 4.5 inches long.
Wow.
3 or 4 inches wide. Just huge. And then the coon are coming down there, raccoon, to get some of them, pry them open, eat them. But a lot going on there. Very important. So. It's like a highway for a lot of animals and connects a lot of ecosystems. Very, very important. The rivers and all that are very important parts of our ecology.
In ways we haven't even talked about yet.
And in some ways that people haven't even learned in science yet,
Yeah.
Just because we don't know it doesn't mean it's not true.
There you go.
Kind of like someone on nextdoor.com recently talked about a coral snake. Watch out! I saw a coral snake today, be careful. I need to post, but I'm thinking it's like, whoa, wait. It didn't suddenly appear. How many years has this coral snake and its friends and family been there and there's been no problem. You know, you need to stop and think about that. It's been there,
Well,
and things have been happening, and no one's been hurt, and everything's been fine. So knowing that it's there doesn't change anything. Other than,
and
you shouldn't know that it's there and get scared. You should know that it's there and think, whoa, look at how long we've been safe.
yeah,
We
and
didn't even
just
know it.
don't disturb it. Let it have its place to be.
Right. Don't be like stupid about them and pick them up because they can be dangerous. But you know, that's not the point I'm making. I'm not, being stupid and saying they're not dangerous at all. There's a potential if you take the risk, but
Yeah,
they're scared of
just
us.
respect it.
I've seen them.
Just respect it.
Some like one coral snake I came upon when I was running down a trail. It was in some sand, and there was a little sand rise. I have never in my life seen a snake wiggle in terror as this one did to try to get the hell away from me. You know, they don't want to be around you. They're scared.
No.
Or like a snake I saw on the trail today. I was running along the trail, saw this little tail. It saw me before I saw it, and boosh! It was like 10 feet down in a second flat into the woods to get the hell
Wow.
away from like this human that is scared of.
It doesn't know you're human. It just knows you're big and could be a predator.
True, it just ran for its life. But
Yeah.
that's something we got to think about too. All the things that have been there, instead of, oh, there's a snake, there's a lion. Think about, whoa, okay, well, it's been there for a long time and nothing's happened. So, how about that?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. But I think some other people have made that point recently on some nice animal Facebook pages I'm on. So Facebook can actually be a good thing if you use it right.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for that.
Yeah, because there's some like tracking groups I'm on and some bird groups and all these others, and it's just great. And there's so much information, and people love it. And these snake identification groups, bird identification, they're helpful. You learn. People are nice to each other, and some even say that, on these different groups.
Yeah.
I love this group. Y'all are so informative. I'm glad we have this. Thanks. That's the way it should be.
I'm just curious, Michael. Are you still recording? Because I don't think anybody's going to listen to us carry on like this for this long.
Well, they need to.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, I'm still recording, and it's going to go up. And you asking me that question is going to be on too.
At which point people will say to themselves, yeah, why am I still listening to this?
Yeah. Why am I not outdoors in the woods?
Yeah, doing some of this.
Looking in the creek. But remember,
There you go.
it's got a lot of stuff in it, so we need to clean it up. So be careful.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll stop the podcast.
Well, I'm asking people, can I count on you, please? Put your dog's poop in the trash. Don't just pick it up and toss it somewhere. Put it in the trash. Please, please, please.
Maybe I'll start doing that too. Bringing some little bags around and picking up other people's trash and throwing it away. I mean, I already pick up trash as it is.
I know, it's a shame we have to do that.
And recently, I bring some stuff to some local naturalists. Like, it's illegal to collect feathers, and I don't. I bury them. So they go, because I don't need the things. I have plenty of stuff. I've seen the feathers. I've taken pictures. I can enjoy them. I like to find them. It's the plants and the animals that need the nutrients more than I need the feather. So I love them, and I care for them. So I help them out by keeping the feather there. But sometimes I'll also bring some to some naturalists for educational purposes. And they can show them to people and learn more about nature and things, and bring some bones and stuff. But recently one also asked about, like, you could tell the person was hesitant at first. And then, what about, because I've been bringing stuff to some people for so long, for years. And then the person's like, well, can you bring scat samples? I'm like, yeah, I'm glad to. I got the scat. I got all kinds of scat. What kind of scat do you want? I got bobcat scat. I got coyote scat. I got raccoon scat. I got the scat. I'll bring you some scat. No big deal. So if I'm doing that, picking up other people's dog poop too sometimes shouldn't be a problem. I pick up trash and scat already, so.
Okay,
But
you
not
know
with
you
my
can
hands.
buy replica scat from Acorn Naturalist. You know
But
that, don't you?
you can't put it
And
under a
then
microscope and study it and stuff like that.
I see. Okay, I thought you wanted it for display.
No, yeah. They want it for education, seeing the real thing, seeing the
I
shapes that can come up, looking at
okay,
it, analyzing it, stuff like that.
okay, okay.
I don't know if they're going to do
As long as they,
pH conductivity, saturated oxygen, and stuff like that, but they are going to study it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, this has been fun today.
yeah, enjoyed it. Good talking to you. Been too long.
Good to talk to you.
So
Call me again sometime.
cool. Any last words for folks?
No, but thank you again for letting me share this time with you, Michael. Really
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Likewise. Okay.